think we have Dr. Oliver with us. Yes, there he is. Oh my goodness. God made. Oh, I love that. Look at that. Look at that. Look how that worked out, Dr. Reid.
Yes, I put my one of my hats on today, you
Yes, of
know.
course you did. I'm going to read your bio and then I am done with the bios for today. Let me just tell you how excited I am about meeting Dr. Reid. I'd heard a bunch of really awesome things about him. And then he did this men's sort of a retreat weekend, let's call it. And there was what, like 100 and I don't even know, let him tell you how many men there were. And a bunch of men that I know from the same networking event. And then, oh my God, it was so great. It was so great. It was amazing. It was like, I cannot wait to meet this dude. Off I go to Maryland, and here we are again, back to Jose's event. Jose, I hope you're listening because we have mentioned your event 1,700 times today. And I met him and his beautiful, beautiful wife, Miata, who I just think is just lovely and absolutely amazing. Again, I'm just watching at, oh no, that's Ivy. Hi, Ivy. I'm back. Yes.
Hey,
Ivy, we love you. So hopefully Jose will come back. But I am going to read your bio so I can let you. We're actually pretty good on time. We did pretty good, even though we had a little hiccup in there. But that's part of leadership, right? You got to just
yes.
breeze through it. Stuff happens, life happens. It is the way it is, like it might not be great, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, so Dr. Oliver T. Reid. What is the T for?
That's for Tyrone. That's that's
Tyrone.
that's the middle
Ooh,
name.
perfect name. Dr. Oliver Tyrone Reid is an international multi-best-selling and award-winning author, motivational speaker, and the founder and president of I Am a Solution Consulting Firm. What a great name, LLC. A human development, oh, love that, organization providing specialized relationship business consulting, counseling and coaching services known as the writing coach. He uses cutting edge writing coaching techniques to help entrepreneurs, speakers, and coaches while leading them to live to their highest potential. That is true. In addition, he is the creator of the revolutionary interactive card game for singles and couples. Okay, this I didn't know. The Interview. Within the past 7 years, Dr. Reid has published 25 best-selling books, contributed to 12 anthologies, and has won multiple awards for his literary work, including the 2016 IALA Distinction of Excellence Legendary Honoree and NAACP 2016 to 2017 Black Men Image Award. Dr. Oliver T. Reid has had the distinct honor of speaking to millions. Yeah, you heard that right. Millions around the world and coaching individuals on 4 continents. Dr. Reid has been featured on HuffPost, Black Enterprise, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, Roku TV, and other international media outlets. I've got to get you onto my podcast ASAP. I must have cut something out. Oh my goodness. And nope, that's just somebody else. Nope, I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
I know it's long.
Apparently I don't know how to delete something. That's fine. Okay, perfect. Dr. Reid, take it away, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Marianne. I am so excited. Um,
Me
my
too.
wife and I loved meeting you, sharing in a fellowship at CLA. I had seen you in passing in Connected Leaders Academy. I'm actually right now. I popped in one of those nice succulent candies that are amazing. You probably can't see it because of my background, but I have it and it is delicious and it's nutritious and I'm so excited And thank you for blessing me with that. But just your spirit and your heart. I thank you for persevering and doing this, providing the forum. It's so amazing. I'm so grateful, and just wanted to share my gratitude for everything. We had an amazing weekend together.
And big kisses to Mietta, your wife, who is
Yes,
absolutely so heart-centered and gorgeous inside out,
yes,
just like you.
yes, yes. And so she, that we were definitely here. I think she's here as well. Sending shout outs to you as well. She's on the call, and just everybody that's in the network, all the great speakers. Dr. Andre, enjoyed her talk, and just being a part of this. I am super excited to share in this leading with God. And I thought about this. This is a friend of mine. He has a clothing line called God Made. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want, to lead with from the top of my head. Without him, nothing, the Bible says, was made that was made. Everything that is made by him. So I'm going to really be sharing some very intricate things today for leaders. And I love working with leaders. It is my passion to always work with leaders. I consider myself a leader not because I've led so well, but because I understand the fact of being led. I understand the fact of being led, and every leader must be led. It was one of the gems I want to drop first off. And here, if you're taking notes, I'm gonna move kind of fast. I'm a country boy. I'm from the South, down in the Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised. Shout out to Charlotte. Right outside of Charlotte is a place called Concord, North Carolina. And I was born and raised in Charlotte. And one of the things as a kid, we played a game, and I think it's a universal game. It was called Follow the Leader. It was Follow the Leader. And I'm convinced that every leader must follow first. And every leader has something inside of them to follow. Now, one of the things that I want to challenge every leader that's watching this, maybe you catch it on replay, maybe you watch it live. I want you to understand that in order to lead, you must follow someone. And if you believe it or not, you will always be following someone. Now, I know that is sometimes I'm my own man and I'm my own woman and I make my own choices and I do all these different things. But as we dial back and scale back, we'll realize that we are following something. We're following individuals, places, and things. A lot of times we may be thinking that we are centered, but we maybe have lost focus. And so I want to speak to the leader who may feel like because they may not have the response that they are looking for, that they're not called by God to lead. I really want to make sure that we live in a world, as you know, Marianne, of like and response, right? If we measure up to how many followers. I can't tell you, I've been to business networking events, and I don't always lead in, most often than not, I don't lead in the marketplace as this pastor, as this person, I lead with the heart-centered approach of being a writing coach, a speaker, an encourager. But one of the first questions I get, there's nothing wrong with this question, but I do baffle over this question, is how many followers do you have? Number one question is, how many followers do you have? And how many people do you serve? And we live in this response age of likes in the hearts and shares. And if we're not careful with being a leader, we find ourselves being disheartened because we're measuring our success based on how many likes, follows, shares, comments, tweets, TikTok views that we have. And if we're not careful, we then begin to validate ourselves in a level of leadership based on who follows us. So I'm on a journey and I'm on an assignment these next few minutes with you, everybody on this call, everybody's watching across the world, to say, what are you following before you leave? Now, this is going to kind of challenge some of our mindsets, because I believe that the best leaders are followers, not the best followers are leaders. The best leaders are followers. So go back to that game. You follow the leader, and everywhere the leader would go, I remember being young, we would follow that leader. And that was so fun, because whatever the leader did, we followed that leader. The leader would change, we followed that leader. And I want to challenge people today to understand the greater one inside of you, the most high that's inside of you, that divine nature and characteristic that God had already downloaded into you for you to follow. And if you don't know who you are, you'll follow anything, everyone, latest trend, latest diet, latest fad, latest voicemail. Hey, I get to talk to so many speakers who don't even know, and I share this everywhere I go, that they are a stage. They're fighting. There are, to get in line, to get ahead, sometimes even cheating and conniving and lying just to be accepted on the stage. And I want them to understand that God has downloaded something in you so unique that if you tap into your divine creativity locked in the inside of you, you have no competition when you dwell in God-made destiny. Write that in, put that in the chat. God gave you a destiny that is already, look at this, a solution. People ask me, how did I come up with my business? I am a solution. And this comes from the great I am. I am because he is. Put that in the comments. I am because he is. I am because he is. And what you have to understand, I was in school. If you know anything about geometry, there is a concept called the Pythagorean theorem. Anybody ever heard of that Pythagorean theorem? I would ask my teacher in geometry, why do I have to learn this crazy equation that took about 2 or 3 pages to write out? I couldn't understand it. Will I need this to count money? Will I need it to be successful in life? I'm sure I knew very quickly, Marianne, I was not going to be a mathematician. I knew very quickly that that was not my grace, that was not my anointing, that was not my calling. I barely passed math, right? And I was in that class and I'll be frustrated. But as I got older, I understood something that I want to share with you guys here that's so powerful. If you tap into your God-given ability, if you tap in, write this down, into the manufacturer of your life. Ooh, I felt that. The manufacturer, the one that gave you a manual and how to operate in your divine giftings and talent. And if you're not careful and you're not following the leader, following the manufacturer who already has given you victory, already has given you creativity, already has made you great, regardless of likes, follows, or shares, then look at this, then and only then will you be able to prosper and enjoy your life. Let me stop here real quick. There are so many people living and existing, hating their life because they don't measure up to the person that's on the other side of them. They don't know who they are, right? They don't know what they've been created to do. They don't know how to operate in their gifting, in their God. Look at this, their God-centered genius. They don't know how to operate and simply being them. So now they have traded in their manual, look at this, for a job description. They traded their manual in for a job description. And we all know the job descriptions have a clause that says any other duties that are assigned. Look at this, all other duties that are assigned. right? I used to hate that when I'm interviewing and I go for the interview and I look at the job application and I look at the job thing and I say, and they look at to me and there's a bottom that says all of the duties as assigned. And I would ask, what does that mean? And they was like, anything else we ask you to do that may come with the job. And I always felt like, whoo, that's a gray area. That's a lot of stuff to cover. That's I need specifics, you know, and some of you are at that place that I want you to leave this call today flying, operating that you are in a place that there's no competition with you. When you understand what's inside of the menu, when you're following the leader, you don't let labels identify who you are, right? And you don't fall in love with the seasons because it's so important that, you know, you understand that every season will look differently as a leader. So I want to lay the groundwork really, really quick. Write these couple things down. I'm really going to talk about a guy that some people may know. He comes out of the scripture in Genesis 32. And you've heard of him before if you know anything about the Bible. If not, you're going to be introduced to a guy that I want to break down who led with God, but he didn't always lead with God. And I can be the first one on this call, I'm sure, Marianne, that has not always led with God. I have not always led with what he told me to do. I've shrunk. I watered down things. I diluted things to fit in because I didn't know who I really was. And this guy is Jacob. I'm going to start with Jacob because I wanted you to really see this. If you want to go to a scriptural context, you can. But I want you to see how powerful this is. And I'm going to be sharing about leading with a limp, leading with a limp, leading with a deficiency, leading with a hang up, leading with a barrier, leading with stainful past, leading with insecurity. Jacob was one of those kind of dudes that Jacob would trick his own brother. He was a person that was a con artist. He was dropped into an environment where his mom was a trickster. He was inside of. Can you imagine? I'm sure people can be honest on this line. You're trying to lead, but you have become a byproduct of the environment you've been dropped in. Maybe you're making cash flow and maybe you're making the quota and you had a great first quarter and you had a great second quarter so far, but you're still under the habits and pretense of a label that you don't even really know who you really are. And what I love about being God made, he doesn't care about what you're going through or where you've been dropped. Go back because he is the manufacturer. He has already given you victory. I want to tell everybody watching this, whatever you are in your life right now, you have everything you need to achieve everything you got to go through. Now that's you already got it. You already qualified. Isn't that great? You already 6 figures and no figures, 7 figures and no figures, 8 figures, no figures. With the mastermind, without the mastermind, you qualify at your worst day when you understand that you must follow the leader. Jacob's at his place. He's done some things. Can somebody put a 1 down in the chat on Facebook? If you've done some things you wasn't proud of, like you've done some things that if we were really able to open up all your closet, all of it, just play a reel, like, you know, if my reel got played, y'all probably wouldn't even want to hear from me. If you really saw like my reel, like I'm not talking about my speaker's reel. I'm not talking about the highlight stuff you see on social media. If you really was able to see the skeletons or the graveyard in my closet, you would say, I don't want it. I'm turning away from this dude. I want you to think about that as we think about Jacob. Jacob was at a place where he had tricked his brother. He had stole some things. Now, I got a deeper revelation to that later on. All right. But he's at a place where he's leading. He's called into leadership, but he doesn't even know his name. It is possible to be in a leadership role and not even know her identity. Ooh, I've been there. I've been there. I've been in Elka. I've been in a place where my family was looking up to me, but I didn't even know what my name was. Write this down. You have to understand what your name is because the name carries the function. Oh my goodness. I don't let everybody, listen, call me whatever they want to call me. Write that down. I can't let everybody label. I can't let you just call me something that I'm not. And some of us are in premature seasons of our life because, check this out, we have been, look at this, answering to the wrong call. Well, you look like you can sell shoes, so let's put you in that particular arena. You look like you should be in that particular arena. You look like you should be in the other arena. So let me just put you there. And you know, one thing I've learned when people are intimidated by what you possess and what you carry and who God has called you to be, they tend to put you in a label or box because it's easier to put me over here than to say who you really are. And you're so busy saying, oh well, you know, I'm just here, right? So one of the things I want you to understand in your leadership to help you today, I want you to understand who you really are, who you're really created to be, and you have to understand who you are created to be. If you're understanding what the manufacturer has called you to do, then you're not trying to chase the things that you're not called to do. All right? That's the powerful thing. So who are you responding to? What is people calling you to do? What are they labeling you in business and life and whatever it may be? If you are, look at this, responding to something you have not been created to do, we overexert ourselves and we bend ourselves out of position. I talk to so many business owners, coaches who have never been called to do what they're doing, but it was convenient. So they just slid in. They have never been called to do sales, but they just found out that that was a way that was a means to an end, supposedly. They hate it. They're fed up with it. They hate going to work every day. They have nice houses and cars. They made millions, but they have no peace. It is possible, and I want to share this, to have a house with no home, to have money with no peace of mind, to be busy and not effective. So Jacob is at this place. He's tricking people. He's doing everything because what was labeled on Jacob, his name meant trickster. It meant con artist. It meant supplanter. It meant deceiver. It meant, you know, if people calling you a beast, you're a beast in this. Yeah, I am. And then next thing you know, you know what beasts do, right? You know, oh man, I know it's a figure of speech, but at the end of the day, we take on traits by what people put in our atmosphere. Write this down. The name of what people call you carries a function. Ooh, names are so powerful because they label a destiny on your life. Could it be that you've been named the wrong thing? Maybe why your business is not hitting the pinnacle that it needs to be because God never gave that name of your business. I go back to what I said earlier. I asked God, what do you want me to name the business? Because I don't want it to be Oliver's business. I want it to be what if you're the manufacturer, let's go back. If you got a Tesla, right? One of my brothers who's watching, I love his car. He has a Tesla, nice car. right? Amazing. You're not going to take that Tesla to a Ford mechanic. You're going to take the Tesla to where the manufacturer is. Point blank, if you want to lead with God, you got to say, God, what have you called me to lead? Could you be solving something with the wrong audience? Let's go back to that equation, that geometry. Yeah, see, y'all thought I forgot. Let's go back to the Pythagorean theorem. It was a crazy problem. Anybody know that it's like a elongated problem? It's long, right? But could you be solving something with the wrong audience? Could you be, think about it. I don't need to hire discerners if I am drowning. If I am drowning, I don't need somebody to stand by the lake and say, Oliver, yeah, it looks like you're drowning. Yeah, you can't breathe. Oh, yeah, yeah, I see you. Oh, yeah, you're drowning. I'm going to need to hire who? Lifeguards. I'm going to need to say, good, there's a place for a discerner, but I need a rescuer. Some of us have hired or invited the wrong people in our circle because we don't know what we're supposed to solve. So in other words, you got to know what the leader wants you to do, what he's called you to do, so that you don't try to solve things that you're not called to solve. Sounds simple, but we can spend our entire life like Jacob. Jacob is 40 years old. Going back to that Pythagorean theorem, I realized something that led to the name I am a solution, because I realized something. It didn't matter how long the problem was if you have the solution. Woo, good gracious. I know I'm watching people on this call, people who are tuned in today, that God has called you to be a solver. And it doesn't it doesn't matter how many things have gotten in your way in the past. It doesn't matter how many times you failed at something. It doesn't matter how many jobs you lost. It doesn't matter how many people unfriended you. You solve something. And I realized with that Pythagorean theorem that no matter how long the sheets of paper was, the answer always overpowered the problem. Where you are right now, do this with me. Put your hands on yourself. Somewhere on your shoulders, and say, I am a solution. I am a solution to a well thought out plan. I am a solution to a well thought out plan. I can't hear you, but I hear you. I am a solution to a well thought out plan. I like this because it's not you're going to be a solution when you make the money, when you get everything right in your life, when you get everything at the top of your game, then you can solve. When you are able to quit crying in the mirror, God will use you in the midst of your crying, in the midst of the crime, in the middle of the crisis. God will still allow you to solve a problem. That is what I want to share with you. Jacob is 40 years old. He's tricked his brother. He's now afraid, because this is what I want to talk to you. The person he's tricked still is appearing and receiving a blessing from God. I want to help you with unforgiveness. I want to help people who don't understand this. God cares about your enemy. God cares about your competition. God cares about the people that get on your nerves. God loves you just as much as he loves the person who did you wrong in the last business deal. Y'all better catch that. God loves you just as much as the people that you hate or people that you have a strong dislike for. God still blesses them. So Jacob is in a place, and if you go and look at Genesis chapter 32, this is really talking about leadership. He's hiding because now he gets word that his brother Esau is coming. And Esau, even though he's been tricked, Esau has, look at this, the blessing. Esau has people with him. He has cattle. He's grown. He's got businesses. He has people. He's got a family that's growing. Oh my goodness! And I tricked him, and now he's bigger than me. Oh my goodness! Now what do I do? And Jacob, still in his own character at the moment, he starts to devise a plan. You know how we do. Oh my goodness, the business is failing. Let me go get a loan. Oh my goodness, the business is failing. Let me go just sell the business. Oh my goodness, I don't want to leave with God anymore. Maybe just let me sit down because everything that I try to do is not working out. Oh well, let me just relocate. Now I'm talking to somebody who's gonna catch it. You relocated 20 times. You've changed your brand 30 times. You've moved from one city to the next city. You went out of business, reopened. Went out of business, reopened. You rebranded. And the problem is, have you ever checked, and this has been my problem a lot of times, with the manufacturer? What is it that I'm supposed to do? So now Jacob is seeing his brother Esau coming. He's strong. His business is growing, and now he's hiding. One of the things I realize is that pressure brings you back to your true character. Right? We all want to leave with God until it gets tough. When it gets tough, let me tell you something. We get it. Let me tell you what I'm really made out of. Right? When you put a man or woman under pressure, you see who they really are. You see who they really are. So Jacob is hiding, and this is the point I want to talk about today: limping in leadership. I want to tell you that it's not about all of this stuff. It is about a divine encounter. Write this down. Your next blessing. I'm going to speak to you with some oversight. I'm going to speak to you now, shifting the call. I'm going to speak to you in what I like to say prophetically. This is going to be something that you may not see. I want to speak to your divine destiny right now. I want to shift you to a place of seeing yourself in a new capacity. I want you to see yourself as God sees you. Look at this. God is looking at Jacob ready. Jacob is at a place where he's so depressed. He's so tired. Check this out. This man is so tired that he falls asleep on a rock. Ooh, think about that. Some of us, I'm the kind of person, when I go check in a hotel, the first thing I'm going to say is more pillows. I always tell my wife, we need more pillows. Like, because I already have in my mind said, this Hilton pillow is not going to work. I'm going to need two. I'm going to need probably 5 of them. I'm going to need, because I like soft pillows, fluffy. I like, those. I don't like hard pillows. I don't like hard mattresses. I'm just that type of person. But if I get tired, it doesn't matter. See, some of you, it doesn't matter. Some of you have picked a place out for your blessing, and it's not going to come from that. It's not going to come in this cushiony life. It's not going to come in this place. It is when you get so tired of being tired. You're so tired of operating outside of the greatness that God has called you to be in. Jacob fell asleep on a pillow that he turned that rock into a pillow. He fell asleep. Now you're talking about tired. Imagine you sitting on a big boulder without a mattress pad, and you lay down on the ground and you go to sleep because you're just that tired and so afraid and so weary. Maybe somebody's watching this. I don't know, Marianne. Somebody may be watching it, and they've been like me, who have been so tired of faking the funk. In other words, faking it till they make it. They're so tired of leading by themselves. I really feel like they're so tired of basically saying, I got to act like I got it all together. It is when we get tired that we see Jacob here tired. He falls asleep, and I love this part. When he falls asleep, look at this. God starts to reveal. Write this down. When I let go, he can lead again. Woo! When I let go of trying to lead God, some people are trying to lead God. You're trying to lead your destiny. You're trying to lead him to where you want him to go when he is the manufacturer. He is the author. He is the finisher. Look at this. When Jacob lets go and he falls asleep, He has a divine encounter with God. Look at this, that is so powerful that I'm speaking prophetically to some people that's going to have a divine encounter today. Right? You may not even see it now, but over the airwaves, over what I'm saying now is going to awaken you to sleep. What am I saying? It's going to awaken you to relax. It's going to awaken you to come alive, to lay your guard down. And these next few minutes, you'll watch how powerfully I'm going to be speaking to leaders that really are ready to lead with God. Marianne, I'm so happy you did this, leading with God, because look at this. Look at this. I've invested hundreds of thousands throughout the years in personal development. And you provided today, Marianne, a cheat code because I done got certificates. I've got so many degrees. I've got so many degrees. Listen, student loans. I've got all this stuff that I paid for, but I had to understand this. What if I just gave God a shot? I know you want to. I'm not knocking the summits. I'm not knocking workshops. I have them. I'm not knocking personal development. I coach that. But what if you just said, let God lead. Let me follow the leader instead of trying to be the leader that God doesn't want me to be. And maybe I need to embrace, since he's the manufacturer, the creator of all things, and he created me before I knew me, and he's been doing this a long time. What if I said, let him lead? Jacob is at this point. This is really powerful for all the leaders today. I hope you catch this. I do pretty good by myself, but if God is able to take it over, he's a specialist. I put a post out the other day. I want to share this. Is very, very powerful. A nail in my hand. If I was to go to Home Depot, if I was to go to Walmart, right? And I got a nail, it might be 39 cents. It might be 49 cents in my hand, right? I am not a carpenter. But if I take that same nail and I put it in a contractor's hand, it is now worth $49.6 million, the same nail, because it's the hand it's in. Ooh, what about if you put your dream, your goal, your strategy, your blueprint in the hands of a specialist? Well, if I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, if I went to a sports store and I got a basketball, I researched it. The highest price in that store would probably be, $100, $100, right? But if I get that same basketball signed by Michael Jordan, it's now worth millions, right? But if I take the same basketball and I lay it in the hands of Michael Jordan, it is now worth $3.2 billion. What do you say? It doesn't matter what it is. It matters about whose hands it's in. Entrepreneurs, put it down. But you want to put it in God's hand. If listen, we talk about corporate credit, we talk about EINs, we talk about all of them. But you want your business, you want your life to be secure in leading with God, because God will tell you to do some strange things. God will tell you to give up this to do that. And at the end, you'll get more for giving up that because he understands everything about your life. Now, that is leading with God. Leading with God, man. I want him on my team. I want him to be the pilot of my ship or my plane. I want him to be the captain of all of that. Now, let's go back to this. Jacob falls asleep on a rock. God comes and he has an encounter. And I like this. When God comes, I want to give y'all a different perception of God. God is not coming in this encounter with Jacob as this sweet, fluffy, flying white cloud, the Sherman angel that's flying softly, and he is floating in space, and Jacob and him are dancing, and everything's going to be rosy, and everything's going to be merry, and everything's going to be okay. Let me break that psychology over your mind. God is speaking to you in the rough place of your life. He's speaking to you when your head keeps hitting that rock. He's speaking to you when there's a negative in your account. He's speaking to you. I'll have this quote, catch this, and you can write it down. I believe that low places are high places inverted. Man, if y'all could understand the science of what I'm sharing with you today, your lowest point, if you can invert it, is really your highest point. The cancer was just put there a lot of times in your life to bring you to a solution to really appreciate your life. It was not meant to kill you. The business partner that walked away was just so that you can get to the purpose that God wants you to have. The no is really a yes inverted. The thing that you felt has you pent in, locked out, is really the solution to their problem. I had to realize this. So God doesn't come to him. He comes to him, write this down, to Jacob when he's asleep and he's ready, he's tired, he's ready to let go. God doesn't come with a pillow. God comes as a wrestler. Write that down. God comes as a wrestler. What do you mean, Dr. Reid? I've been praying for these miracles. I've been praying for breakthrough. I've been praying that I would bust my goals out of the frame in 2024. I've been praying for a rescuer. I've been praying for someone to take the agony of the divorce away. I've been praying to the Lord, and you're not coming on a charming cloud. He's coming as a wrestler. Oh my goodness. When God gets ready to change you and really starts to lead, a lot of times he doesn't come cushiony. He's coming to wrestle the very thing in your mentality away. Write that down. He's wrestling with Jacob's mentality now. You're walking around with the label that I didn't put on you. Entrepreneur, listening to the sound of my voice, leader that's listening, you've been walking around with what your mom called you, your daddy named you, your cousin called you, your business partner called you, and you have no clue. So he has to come in and he has to wrestle away the things in your mentality. I got to wrestle with your dream of yourself. You're lower than where you should be. I had come as a wrestler. Oh my goodness. Now that was something that if you really look at that in scripture, you're thinking that he's coming to give you an exit. And God said, no, I got to take this out of your life. You're thinking that he's going to give you a lead generation, a funnel. Give me a funnel. Give me a shortcut. Give me a certification. Please give me something to hold for. Jacob thought the same, but God came as a wrestler. And they wrestled to daybreak. I was speaking prophetically to somebody. You've been wrestling to today. You tuned in for the 3 o'clock. You could have gotten off the call. Some of you came back on this call because that was a prophetic word. Because a woman of God by the name, look at this, a Marianne Paget, put this together so that this project kid, Oliver Tyrone Reid, can come and tell you right now that God's about to win the wrestling match in your mind. You can't get the mansion right now because your mind is still in the ghetto. You can't take it to, you can't scale your business because you're still answering to what everybody wants you to answer to. You're still in a place where God is wrestling with your dream of yourself. The manufacturer is saying, hold on, I got better for you. That's why I'm wrestling. You've been walking around being just Oliver, but I've called you to a divine destiny. You've been trying to lead without me. I need you to lead with me. And so what happened in that text, there's a wrestle going on. He's wrestling with God. But what's powerful about this, write this down, God, look at this, is not a fair God. Oh, good gracious. I'm going to explain that really, really quick. I'm blowing some of your bubbles because you've been praying, kill my enemies, kill my competition. You know, it's not fair. They cheated me. They owe me money. They took everything from me. Maybe it's just me. I've had folks that didn't pay for my program. I had people that did a chargeback and I gave them 100%. 120%. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe let me look in the chat on my phone. Is it just me? Or did you have some people that you did do good to that charged back? I ain't talking about small chargeback. I've had people charge 3,000, 5,000. I had people take my program and say they didn't get anything out of it. And I would pray, God, fight my enemies. God calls them to pay me back. You know, all that stuff. And God was like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. You thought your blessing was in your clientele. You thought your blessing was in your clientele. Let me say that again. You thought your blessing was in your leadership. You thought you were the best thing since sliced bread. You thought you were the coach. You thought you're just great. Can we be honest? You knew you had a couple remedies in you. You knew you had a great product. And I want to break that out of your mentality. I want to take that out of you because you can't do anything efficiently without me. You can't get to the next level, and you've only seen a portion. You're fighting over millions when I want to take you to billions. I want to give you the whole block, and you're just trying to fight over a room. I want you to understand. You're so busy fighting. So he comes to him, but look at this. God is not fair, so he doesn't give us what we deserve. Oh, I'm so glad. I am so glad that God calls crop failure for some things that I sold in my life. I am so happy. Maybe it's just me, Marianne, that I didn't get everything that I sold. Like I've done some stuff, right? I'm so glad God said, "No, I'm not going to be fair with you over there. Yeah, you did that, but I'm not going to give you an apple because you sold an apple. Yes, I'm not going to be late because you were late. Because you got mad, I'm not going to get mad." I'm so glad that God is not, if you look at anything in the Bible, it doesn't say him being a fair God. That's not one of his attributes. What it says is he's just. Write that down. Just. Woo! Oh, man, how many more minutes? I got a couple more, 15 minutes. Stay with me, but if you catch this revelation I'll give you, it's going to be good. I promise if you stay to the end, it's going to be good. He's a just God. Somebody type just in the chat. Just. He's a just God. What he's saying is, if you give it to me, I will be just with it. Whoa, just, I will be enough with what you give me your leadership and take mine. I'll just exchange. Look at it. Justice. Let's talk about law. It doesn't matter if a person is guilty. It's if you can prove without a reasonable doubt. That look at this, that person is guilty. So justice was served doesn't mean that you're not guilty. Justice means that there's not enough conclusive evidence. Can I talk to you? There's not enough conclusive evidence that you're going to fail. I know you did something. There's not enough that your inner me has on you. Now, let's not talk about Satan or the powers of other people right now. I want to talk about your inner me, INNER, the inner you. There's not enough evidence stacked against you internally, because sometimes we are the one that is fighting against the dream, the purpose, the goals that God wants us to have. That's the powerful thing, that we are the people. Oh, man, we are. Look at that, the people. Justice. So what God is saying to listen, that it's not fair, but he's going to give you justice out of it. He's going to give you look at this. He's going to give you love out of it. He's going to give you grace out of it. He's going to give, look at it. Let me just put this down. Somebody say just in. I see somebody say just in. I want to give you, this is a news reporting right now, prophetic. I want you to see this. We're about to shift. The next 10 minutes, we're getting somewhere. We're on this ride together at the conclusion of this. But you know how the news anchor come on. Think of me as a news anchor right now. I am coming to report the news. I am not bringing my own news. I am coming to report the news, and I'm just telling you, this just in. Just in that God is about to change your business structure because you've been plugging into the wrong socket. You've been saying, okay, let me budget, and there's nothing wrong with personal training and development, but maybe I need another coach. Maybe I need another coach. I need another business model. And God is saying, no, you just need to just give it to me. Now, let me talk about God not being fair. He's just. Look at what happened, and I don't know if you ever saw this, if you looked at the scripture, but it's something powerful. Look at this, how does Jacob, whose name means trickster, how is he able to fight with God? Because if you keep reading this, it goes a little bit deeper, Marianne. It goes that Jacob won the match. Oh my goodness. Jacob was able to grab a hold to God. Hold on. He's able to grab a hold to God by letting go. Could it be your next 6 figures or 7 figures is in your relinquishing your yes? Oh, good God. Could it be that the next level is maybe I am tired and I'm going to let God do it? But the long story, let's move really quickly. Jacob goes through this encounter. He has this encounter. He's at the place of wrestling. And then he wins by the power of God because only God can fight against himself. Because guess what? Let's go back to the manufacturer. Let's go back to the manufacturer. God, even in Jacob's tricking, hustling, saw that he was the chosen one. My goodness gracious. Woo! Put this in the chat. I am the chosen one. Remember, I said you are a solution. You are a solution. You are a solution. So when God comes looking for something, he cannot destroy something that looks like him. I'm gonna pause there. If there's something in the inside that looks like him, he will preserve what looks like him. Yeah, yeah. He will preserve because he knows your heart. He knows who you really are. You don't have to be a snake. You don't have to be crooked. You don't have to be scheming, conniving. God comes to him and says to the angel, God comes to him and he says to Jacob, Jacob, this is my word that I want to give everybody watching. Timothy Clay, I'm looking at some of the people who are Ivy, Marianne, Jessica, Chandler? Look at this. He's saying, because you have prevailed. Write this word prevail. Prevail. This is the thing. Because you have prevailed. Hold on. How did he prevail over God unless God was inside of the trickster? Unless God was inside of the man that was making mistakes. Unless God was inside. So God said, because you have prevailed, look at this. The first thing I'm going to do, and this is for prophetically, this is what I'm giving everybody on the call. God is saying, I'm changing your name. He says, Jacob, no longer will your name be called Jacob. Why does God have to change your name? Because Jacob was answering to a call from somebody else. Some of you are going to get new business calls, new business strategies, new clients, because your name at the end of this leading with God, Marianne, she didn't just put this together. God put it together so that I can come tell you this message, so all the other speakers can come tell you a message. And I'm telling you, you're going to get new clients because they're not going to be calling your business the last name that it was in the last season. They're going to be calling your business because you're going to, look at this, take the name God gives you, and then they're going to be, look at this, clients can't even come because you haven't been called the right thing. Some of you, God gave me this, but I'm not going to call myself a consulting firm because then I'll be in competition with somebody else. And I'll just dial down and I'll just water myself down to just be a coach. Some of you are not supposed to be coaching. Some of you may need to be the t-shirt manufacturer that God called you to be because that's where your passion is. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's trendy to be called the hot button topic. Everybody now wants a podcast. Everybody wants to podcast now. Everybody, listen, I'm not knocking as if what God's called you to do. But what if he told you to make microphones for the podcast? And that's where your passion is. Your passion is in technology, not the podcast. Or what if he told you to make the little batteries that go into the mic? Or maybe he told you just to make the cord. Or what if you're just a flyer guy? You can still make millions just creating podcast flyers. Or maybe you're supposed to be the guy who's supposed to make the paper for the flyer. Or maybe you're the IT person that was supposed to protect the security of the site. But you've been answering as the coach. You've been answering as the podcast person. God is so specific that he changes Jacob's name to Israel. He begins to say, you're not, look at this, what you've been answering to. I want to say this to people watching. You're not, in the next couple of minutes, you're not just limited to just being just a cupcake maker. You're not just limited to what you're gifted in. God is giving you a name, because when he gives you a name, remember I said it earlier, he gives you a function. You can now function. So Jacob, he says, I'm going to take off of you what was labeled on you. I'm going to give you a name for your business, name for your enterprise, name for your life, name for your leadership. You no longer will lead being tricky. You're now going to take on integrity. Look at this. And then he says, because you have prevailed, this is the thing that I want to say that's really, really powerful. He said, a prince shall come out of you. Woo! Some of you are fighting battles in your business now because you got a generation of princesses and princes coming out of you. This fight, you will never even see why you had to come the way you have come, and tune in at about 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to hear this guy with this God-made hat saying that the battle that you're facing isn't even for you. It's for the children that's coming after you. It's to the woman that's going to be crying that needs your coaching. and she needs you to show up real relevant. She's about to kill herself, and she needs somebody that she can identify with. That's why you've been going through the Hades and the hell you've been going through. Maybe it's a cause, man, people have been ripped off and they need to see integrity. It's about the prince. It's about the Joseph that's going to come after you, that's coming inside. Look at this. This is where God wants you to lead. But look at this. This is the last part I want to share. The Bible, the scripture says that in the midst of the battle with God, wrestling with the mindset of Jacob, whose name will become Israel, that the angel grabs a hold to the tendon in his hip or thigh. So the rest of, look at this, of Israel's life, or Jacob, whose name is Israel, Marianne, he walks with an impediment. This is my last thing. Some of us think the scar that's left after everything you've been through is a sign of weakness. But I want to tell you that you may have to limp. I'm limping now. Those that were at CLA, you know my testimony. I'm limping, but I'm walking into a fullness of my leadership. I want to share, quit trying to cover up the brokenness. What if you're able to lead with God and open up? Because maybe your clients are sitting in the room and they were waiting on you to show up authentic, Mary, and they're waiting on you to say, here is my bruise. Here is my weakness. Here is my stage. I'm not looking for stages. I'm not looking for opportunity. I am the chosen one. I am the solution, because he is. What if you put God out front? God made. What if you put him out front instead of the closing rate? What if you put him out front and say, you know what? Maybe I will allow you to come into my course for free. Maybe it's not about the money. It's about the impact. Or maybe it is my assignment to serve. So I'm just saying that over your life. After this day, you're going to walk into a greater level of grace, a greater level of favor, and you're going to answer to the divine call. I see some of you who are tuned in now, at least 7 of you, are going to have record-breaking years in the next 2 quarters. Because you're going to take this word that was applied in faith and you're going to restructure your thinking. I'm not saying go get a new business plan. I'm saying your mindset of how you approach business. When Jacob's name was changed, he would walk into the fullness of what he's called to do. But the limp, I'll leave this last thing, is to let you know that it's going to cost you. We remember those things. We remember because of the scars. I got one last story. When I was 14, I worked a job at a summer camp and I was making minimum wage. I was so excited. I was from the hood. I grew up very poor. So me making, I think at the time, I was making like $6 an hour. And it was my little summer job. I was 13 to 14, Marianne. You couldn't tell me anything. You couldn't tell. I was making cash. You hear me? I was making cash in my summer job. And I remember being late for work. And I remember it raining on that street. And there was hilly on this street. There's a lot of hills. And I had a 10-speed. Anybody know what a 10-speed bike? I had my little 10-speed bike. You couldn't tell me anything with the handlebars that you had the brakes right there. Oh man, that thing was red. It was sleek, and somebody gave it to me, so it had a bent tire. But anyway, it was free, and I was like, "Oh God, I'm late for work, and I got to get to my." I was a janitor at the time. I was helping the custodians, and I was running down the road, and it was slick, Marianne. It was slick, and I was riding down, and I was going so fast down this hill, and one of my tires in the 10-speed hit a manhole, a man drain, and I hit the drain and I slid. Like it felt like a couple hundred feet. I flipped off the bike. I slid down, and anybody know about the tar on the sidewalk? It ripped my flesh from my body. It ripped my flesh from my body. It really it did something to my flesh. And I'm taking my filters off so you can see I'm not lying. Let me see if I can get in the screen. Let me see if I'm over there. Do y'all see the scars? There's some scars there. I still carry the scar today. Did y'all see that? I carry the scar, so I'm not lying. This is the scar here, over here. And I went to work, I'm all bandaged up. But years later, it taught me something. I am perfectly healed from that incident, but the scar reminds me to take my time. Could it be that the scars of your past was not there to break you, but they were road maps to help somebody else along the way? So thank you for your time, Marianne. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm still recovering. Okay, first of all, do you like my hat? Check out my hat. Here, hang on. I'm gonna go into a gallery view so you can see it better. It says Simply Blessed.
Simply Blessed. Oh man, I'm loving that. I'm loving
Right?
that.
I'm there
I'm
going,
loving
where's
it.
my hat? I have this one, and this one's good too, but I thought I'd try to match up with you with the thing. I have
Oh, I love it.
this one's awesome too, and this one says love, but this one doesn't match as well as this. So I'm gonna
Is that yours? Is that your line?
no, it's not my line. I bought it somewhere nice, but actually I bought this one on a cruise, and I don't know where I bought this one in a store. Absolutely amazing. Okay, I don't know. You're gonna have to close for all of my stuff now. That's it. All of my stuff. Like there's
I
no way.
got you.
I don't think I
Oh
can
man.
ever recover from this. This is so amazing. I don't know what to say. If you haven't been blown away by this, you need to re-listen to this. You need to re-listen to everything. And earlier today, somebody had commented, oh yeah, it was Amanda. She had commented when Dr. Andrea was talking, she said, oh, church is not a building. Okay, I think church is Empowered Talks right here with Dr. Oliver Reid. Literally, that's exactly like it was so wow, that was some serious power right there. Everyone, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone who participated. Thank you, Dr. Oliver Reid for closing. Thank you, Lori McNeil for opening. Thank you, everyone in between. Thank you, Jose, for always supporting. Thank you, Jose, for creating the CLA. And thank you for helping me to creating a platform where I met all these people and I could actually put them on. I think Jose counted and commented in there somewhere and said there was nine people, which is kind of funny because in my book that Jose was talking about, I believe there's 9 people in this book as well, which is Self-Empowerment Reset, our conversations with the divine. There's 9 CLAers in there, CLA. And I don't know, thank you, every single speaker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, like I feel like I want to go down the list so I don't forget someone, because I will forget. I'm so excited. And plus I'm like, I'm writing notes. You want to talk notes? Oh my God, I can't even. There's just too many. Thank you, Satish. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Alka. Thank you, Dr. Reid. I'm just reading in order. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Dr. Barnsley. Barnsley Brown. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Jessica Ramon. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Dr. Andrea. And thank you, Chris Burns. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have I don't even know how many regulars on here, but I'm gonna turn this into a 2-day thing. Like, this is crazy. I can't even, I have to say no to people. I don't like saying no to people. I think if people want to speak, I need to give them the opportunity, and they have something good to say. So soon this is going to turn into a 2-day event. I think my next one is June 13th, and it will be called it's either The Rocky Road to Success. I think it's going to be called The Rocky Road to Success, because I'm going to have a book out simultaneously going out, and it's going to be called Our Rocky Road to Inner Peace, and it's going to be an anthology. So, oh my God, this is so good. Thank you, everyone. Oh my gosh, thank you to all the comments. Ivy, extra special thanks to you. Jessica, extra special thanks for you to hang out with me while one of the speakers was a little bit later on busy coaching. Thank you to everyone, and thank you to God.
Yes.
Amen.